Hi everybody, good morning. Today is Monday, and I've got a couple of different things to talk with you about today. So let's start up here with message 1. If you watched Miss Laura's video on Friday, then you saw how she went on a nature scavenger hunt. So she went outside by her house and it looked like maybe she was in her yard, and she took like a bucket with her or something to put things in, and she went looking around for different things that she could find that were part of nature. So like she was seeing like some clovers and different kinds of flowers and plants. There was pine cones and like twigs or sticks, and she was also hearing a lot of things, and it was reminding her of the listening walk that she had shown us how to do. So I'm wondering, did you go on a nature scavenger hunt? What did you find? There's so many things out in nature that are fun to look at, and maybe they were okay for you to pick up and take with you in your bucket, and then maybe you did something with them at home. There's a lot of different things you can do with nature items that you find. So yeah, I think today is a very beautiful and sunny day. Today would be a good day to go on a nature scavenger hunt for sure. All right, for message 2, I wrote some words because I tried a lot of different times to draw a picture and I just didn't like the way it was coming out. So I decided, well, let's just do the words, but it says leopard frog, and I put an exclamation point because I'm really excited. So we've been watching that tadpole as it was getting bigger and then going through metamorphosis, and we watched how it was growing legs, and then it was a froglet because it had back legs and front legs and some tail, but the tail is totally gone. It's not a tadpole anymore. It's not a froglet anymore. It is a frog, and this type of frog is called a leopard frog. And I've been taking some pictures that I'll also send to your families. But it's called a leopard frog, I think, because it has spots on its back, kind of the way a leopard has spots on its skin, right? So let's go ahead and see if we can find the leopard frog. I know sometimes it's hard to see in the videos, but the leopard frog is actually hiding between these two rocks. It likes to be, I don't know, kind of stuck in there, I think. It's enjoying hiding. Yeah, if you can't see the leopard frog right now, I understand. Like I said, it's hard to see in the videos, and I don't want to try to chase the leopard frog or touch it and make it jump. That's just not very kind. So I'll send some pictures too so you can see, but that's it. We're all done watching because it went all the way from tadpole to frog. So that was a really fun adventure to be able to see how it was changing, and I'm really glad that we got to do that together. So for message 3, I want to show you how to make something today. This is something I've done one time before when I was the green room teacher, and we really liked it a lot. So I thought, you know what, I want to show my red room friends how to do it as well. So let's make paper. We use paper a lot, right? Like in red room, we use it for art or for writing notes. Maybe your family at home uses paper for different things, but we can make our own paper. Okay, so there's a couple different things we'll need. You'll need paper, and we're gonna you can use your hands to tear it into tiny little pieces, or you can cut with scissors. And this can be paper that you know you're not going to use anymore. So not brand new paper, but maybe paper that came in the mail and your family doesn't need it or want it. Maybe you have a piece of art that you made a long, long time ago and you think, you know what, I don't want this art anymore. So instead of throwing it away, you can tear it up into tiny little pieces. So I had 2 pieces of paper this morning, and they were pieces of mail. And I read the mail and I thought, you know what, I don't need this paper anymore. So I tore it up into tiny little pieces with my fingers. Just here, I can show you. Just like this. It makes tiny pieces. Or you can use scissors to cut too. Okay, and it takes a little bit of time. You might need to be patient and really work at it. Or you can ask somebody to do it with you. You can say, hey, let's race. Let's see who can tear up the paper the fastest. Right? You can make it into a game. So after you have a bunch of tiny paper pieces, we're going to need a blender because we're going to blend the paper pieces and some water together. And then I'm going to show you how you can use your hand to smush the water paper mixture, or it's called pulp, and make it flat into a new piece of paper. So we're actually going to go to my kitchen for this. All right, so I'll see you in a second. Okay, so remember I'm having my camera super down low so that you can see everything I'm doing here. So I'll keep talking and you'll be able to hear me, but you won't be able to see my face, okay? So I have my paper and I have my blender over here. So the first thing I'm gonna do, and my blender has these blades that you can take in and out, and they're very sharp, so be super careful. So I'm just gonna make sure my blades are in there, and I'm just going to pour some of my paper. Actually, I'm just gonna use all of it. Right into my blender. So that's the first thing we're gonna add. Next, I need to add some water. So I'm just gonna get some water from the sink. Okay. So now I have some water in the bottom as well. And it's okay to add more water than you might think you need because we're gonna end up squeezing out as much water as we can. And we don't want the pulp, so that's when the paper and the water are mixed together. We don't want it to be too thick and ruin the blender, right? So add a good amount of water. I'm going to add just a little bit more actually. Okay, and then I'm going to put the lid on my blender and then set it up. Okay, I'm going to turn the blender on, so it's going to be a little noisy. Here we go. Okay, so now it almost looks like milk a little bit, doesn't it? So I blended and blended and blended together, and now it's something called pulp, or when water, tiny, tiny, tiny paper chunks and water are mixed together. So the next thing I want to do is put my pulp onto like a metal screen. So sometimes you can use, like maybe you have a piece of screen at your house. I'm going to use my mesh sifter, and I'm putting a bowl underneath because remember there's a lot of water in here. We want to catch the water, right? But if you don't have these things, that's okay. I'm going to show you another way that you can do it as well. So I'm just going to put my sieve in the bowl like this. Open my blender. And remember, I showed you that my blender, I can take the blades out. So that's what I'm going to do, these sharp, sharp pieces, and put them aside. And now it's okay for me to reach my hand in because there's nothing sharp. Some blenders have their blades stuck to the bottom and you can't take them out. So if your blender is like that, don't put your hand in it. Dump everything into a bowl first and you can scoop out of the bowl. Or you can do like I am, and I'm just gonna pour right into my mesh strainer or sieve. Let's set that aside. But now you can see a lot of the water is dripping through, but my pulp is staying. And I'm just gonna gently use my hand. I'm gonna use the back of my fingers and push more water out. Ooh, it feels kind of soft and wet and slimy at the same time. Oh, that's very strange. Ooh, very weird. But pretty cool too. And I'm gonna just try to get out as much water as I can because we know paper isn't really supposed to be wet, right? You can really see it sticking together a little bit. Oh, and some chunks are coming off. That's okay. So now I've just got like this pile of weird, sticky, wet, squishy feeling stuff. So I'm going to move my bowl with water over to the side. And next, I have like an old towel. And this towel is going to be really awesome because towels are good at drying up extra water, right? So what I'm going to do is just flop it out onto the towel as best I can. And it's okay if it gets all jumbled and messy, like mine's in a pile now, that's fine. I'm going to just move it around a little bit. And now I'm gonna kind of start to squish out all that extra water, and I'm using my hands. You can use some other tools too, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I have a piece of wax paper that I can just lay over the top like this, and then I have a rolling pin, so if you want to, you can also help squish out a lot of that water onto the towel with a rolling pin by just rolling it back and forth and using your muscles to get out as much water as you can. Now, there's one extra thing I want to add. You might remember a few videos ago, I made these special pressed flowers. I'm going to add them to my paper. So I very carefully had to peel them off the paper, but now I can pick them up, and they're still very fragile and delicate. That means they can break very easily. So I'm being super careful, and I'm just gonna put them down on my paper, and you can put them wherever you want. All right, come on, buddy, one more. There we go. There. So now you can see my they look like dots, but they're the flowers. And now I want to roll one more time just to make sure that my flowers are really sticking to the paper. Roll it out. And you know what? My paper is not a square, right? It's kind of a weird and funny shape. That's okay. Uh-oh, look what happened. One of my flowers stuck to the wax paper. That's okay. Just gonna peel it off carefully, put it back, and just kind of gently use my finger to squish it down. Yeah, okay. So now I have this funny shaped paper, and now it needs to dry. And just like the flowers took a few days before it was ready for them to be peeled off the paper, your paper might need a day or two to dry, especially if it's really thick, right? So I'm just gonna leave it on this towel. I'm gonna let it sit for a while, and I'll come back to it later. And when it's totally dry, maybe I wanna use some scissors and cut off the weird pieces and make it into a nicer shape. And then when it's totally dry, you can use markers to color on it, or maybe you want to write a message on it for somebody. You can use your paper for whatever you want, maybe to make more art, or do other things like that. So that's one way you can make paper. I'm gonna attach a website to the email I send your families with some more ideas, and I hope you get a chance to try it. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time on Wednesday, and Miss Laura will see you tomorrow with her video. Bye everybody.